All right, we're back. Week 7.
Wow.
Tuddy buddy, welcome.
We're talking rankings this out. And specifically what?
Are you okay?
I don't know. Hey, just for the listeners, you might not have noticed in the last pod because I'm covering it up really well, but I have a cold.
Yeah, this he's fighting through it.
Because that's the thing with us Tuddy buddies is it's all about toughness. And you don't just sit things out. I might be questionable, but I'm gonna play in the game.
Tell you what, last week we were doubtful and we did not start, but it's because we were apart. Yeah,
that was different. That was work tore us apart last week.
Yeah,
and
we tried though. We tried.
We sure did. But this week we're back with our rankings. This is obviously through week 6.
Yeah,
we're not counting the one game of week 7 that we had.
In my rankings, they are, but they're blah blah blah. They're not even. Those two teams are blah blah blah.
Yada yada yada. Saints, Broncos, whatever. They're not going to be there anyway.
They're middle of the pack or worse.
Okay. Just as a reminder, the way we do this, we go through our bottom 5 teams first. Talk about is there any hope for these teams? What could they do to fix their bottom 5 status?
And here's a little hot take.
Yeah,
we're going to be arguing our pants off.
We're here to disagree today.
We're going to agree to disagree.
And then after we get through those bottom 5, we're going to talk top 10. We're going to say, are they for real? Are they not for real?
Yep, and then we might do a little teaser about some of these middle of the pack guys. Who's going to come up? Who's going to come down?
That's right. So,
all right, let's start at the bottom here.
Starting at the bottom, now we're here.
Worst team in the NFL.
You want to start at the very bottom? Or are you going to start 5 out? It's up to you.
5th out.
It's up to you. I don't want to force you to do anything you don't want to do.
Oh, gosh. So as I was making these rankings, I did like a little side thing, just so I can document week 7 by itself.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to number like the worst 5. Like, top 10 is like easy. Like 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, so should I rank them as like 28? 32 or 30? So whatever. The 28th worst team.
Give me 28.
Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh, okay. They are my 27th worst team. So they're just right outside my top 5, but I think they definitely
bottom 5.
Deserve.
You said top 5.
Oh, sorry, dummy. Bottom 5.
I'm going to agree that you made a mistake there.
For the Raiders, is there anything you think they could do to get out of the for this year to get out of the bottom 5? Or are they just this is who they are this year?
No, they're bottom 5.
I agree. I think especially after trading Devontae, it's like they're committed to it now.
They're committed to being
tanking,
bad.
basically.
And Tom Brady just got in the ownership for the Raiders.
Yeah.
So
I heard that they said, I saw a quote that said, we traded Devontae because we're confident that Tom can help us pick a quarterback next year. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, okay. X plus Y equals Z and square root of that.
Okay, so now, we talked about it a little bit on the last one. My heart of hearts would love to see Max Crosby traded to a team that mattered. Do you think, if you were the Raiders, do you think it's in their best interest to get rid of Crosby or to keep him?
I'd want to look at, I don't know his contract and everything.
Yeah. I know he's fairly young still.
I mean, you don't want to see anyone like that ever leave.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to keep him unless I can get 2 first-round picks or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
It seems like he's at least 1 first-round pick. I know that's hard to get for a defensive player a lot of times.
Yeah,
but he seems worth at least 1 first.
Yeah, I would. That would be it would need to be a huge package in return if I'm seeing that guy go.
Yeah,
because he's kind of
that's right.
Beyond the football, he's so much of what that team is.
Yeah.
So seeing someone like that go, you're going to lose so much of your momentum and fan base.
Their entire identity.
Yeah,
is Max Crosby. Yeah.
Well, here's just a little quick thing.
Yeah.
If you're watching the Raiders and they're showing, it's before the game, they're showing some stuff. Who's the player they're going to put up there? Usually it's a quarterback. It's going to be Max Crosby.
It's going to be Max. Yeah, he's their star.
Him,
yeah, they'd have no one. Actually, I think the next. I think the next person would be, and it's escaping my mind his name, but their defensive tackle that they got from the Dolphins.
Oh,
is their next best player.
Yeah.
And he's not a Max Crosby level.
Cosby or Crosby?
Crosby. Sorry. Okay. Don't want to sully his name with that other name. Okay, so my 5th worst.
Yeah, your 5th worst in the NFL through week 7.
Jaguars.
They're almost the worst team.
Okay, so I think the Jags are there. only because they may have scored maybe a few more points than some of these other teams.
Yeah.
But I think it's time. Like, they need to fire the coaching staff. They need to. We've been saying this. I mean, this is not new for the Jaguars. Is there anything to add, do you think?
No, I just make it fire the coach. And,
what are we doing?
Yeah.
I just don't.
I think they're going to have a new stadium by 2028, so they better start that rebuild soon, because it's not looking good.
I just don't understand. It's like they're waiting for them to come back from London before they fire people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird, which I guess that maybe it would be weird to get fired while you're on a work
trip. There might be some legal things or something where it's, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. They need to do something.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick on the Raiders.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess their turnover differential?
So the way this works is plus or minus, right? Because minus being...
Yeah, so let's say you have one interception and you have not thrown or whatever, so you're plus one.
Okay. I think they are -7.
They're -10. Worse than the NFL.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, well, that's why they're bad.
So that's why I put them all the way down, because they can't protect the ball. Their defense isn't getting opportunities like we would think they would be, and terrible.
Wow, that's I mean, well, yeah, when you're turning the ball over that much, your defense is just gassed. They're on the field all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, who do you have at fourth worst?
That's
29th, I guess.
The Browns.
Okay, I have them actually lower. I have them at 31.
Yeah.
What would you say? How do you fix the Browns?
So the reason I have the Browns not as the last, they're close, is they do have talent. They have a great defense. They have offensive pieces. They have Nick Chubb coming back.
Yeah. Oh, he's so
I don't
cool.
necessarily think it's the coach's problem.
No.
I think they need to, I don't know if they cut Deshaun Watson or what, but Jameis Winston, he needs to be the starter.
Yeah. 100%.
I think that's how you fix it. Honestly, I think that would fix it, just doing that one change.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think.
Well, we're supposed to disagree, FYI.
We'll get some disagreements. Don't worry. But on this one, I agree with you.
Okay.
He is horrible. Statistically, depending on what metric you're looking at, this is one of the worst offenses ever, pretty much. And I just heard that he is actually playing worse than Jamarcus Russell, who is one of the he's known as the worst bust of all time.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's just horrible. And then you're wasting so much talent. You have some, Myles Garrett on that team. Garrett, I said that really weird. Myles Garrett.
Yes.
Nick Chubb, like you said, is coming back. No, can I tell you something I heard about Nick Chubb that I think gonna make you love him?
Yes. So
he still goes and works out at his high school.
I saw that. Yeah.
Because it has a water fountain.
A water fountain?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about this.
He said he's like, I like it there. They have all the weights I need, and they have a water fountain.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess they don't have that at the facility.
I thought it was more of he wants to get back to his roots, kind of.
Well, I think it's kind of all of that, but I just
beautiful.
think it's so funny that one of his considerations, water's just available.
Yeah, nice water fountain.
Yeah,
very nice. Cold water.
I just go over to a water fountain if I want to drink.
He's cool.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's pretty much the only change they need to make, and they would be at least mediocre. They might not be great.
Yeah, but, I mean, they're 1-5.
Yeah, but I mean, when the only proof you need is to look at the way Flacco turned that team around last year.
That's so true. That's so true.
They were so good.
Yeah, I don't understand why they aren't. I mean, James Winston, he's not Hall of Fame quarterback by any means.
No,
but I think the team can rally around that guy easy.
I think it's an ownership thing where it's we're paying this guy so much money, he has to play.
Did you hear Stefanski say something all the decisions are done with ownership?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which
then it's
ties you up.
If I was a coach, I'd be you either let me do my job or please fire me so I can go work elsewhere where they will let me do my job.
I thought the Browns were going to be pretty good this year, so it's kind of weird to see them in the Bengals as well, but different story there.
Yeah. Well, we might get to them. Okay, my fourth worst, so my 29th ranked team is the Patriots.
Yeah,
do you have them down here?
They're on my list, and I'll get to them.
How do we think we fix the Patriots?
It's not this year.
Yeah.
It's
What do you think they need most? Like, if you had to pick one position, they get the number one pick, and it's what do they need most? Is it offensive line?
I guess.
Yeah. It's bad everywhere.
I think if you have the first overall pick, you trade it to try to get like
a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they need a lot of help.
Yeah. And the coaching, I think, is okay. It's solid. Their defense has been playing all right. It's just they lack a lot of firepower on offense.
Yeah.
Drake May, I think, gives them a little bit of a shot. He looked pretty decent. Like, he can actually throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, and he can move around a little bit more. So, yeah.
They're my worst team, though, on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. What's their turnover differential, if I may ask?
If you may ask, they're decent. They're just -1.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So it's just, they just can't make anything happen.
They just can't win
kind
a
of
game.
their problem. Yeah.
Are they winless, or have they won one?
They have won one game.
Yeah.
They won their first game. Because I remember
the Bengals.
They gave the coach a Gatorade bath on the first game when they won.
Awesome.
And I was like, that's not a good sign. Like, that's
that's
a little too early to celebrate. Okay, who do you have at 30?
I have the Panthers at 30.
Ooh, okay. They're down my list. They're actually my worst team.
Interesting.
And I think that's just mostly wins, losses, and they've been blown out pretty bad a couple times.
Yeah. Their point differential is just terrible.
Yeah, like atrocious.
It's by far the worst.
Is there a fix for them that you could,
quarterback is what they need, big time.
Yeah, they need some. Andy Dalton's like
serviceable.
A lot better than I got emotional.
Yeah. Andy Dalton's way better than Bryce Young, but they need a Jaden Daniels. They need a Caleb Williams.
Yeah, they need a spark.
They need a spark plug to that carburetor.
And I think also like their defense is basically non-existent. So.
Defense. Well, they had a big injury too. They need. I don't know if I'm the Panthers, I don't know if I give up a first pick. Like if there's a quarterback I like, I think I take him.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you got to start. Honestly, for them, it's like you got to start building somewhere you don't have a quarterback. So that's do that. And if that's not there, then go do anything. Honestly, like just pick the best player because you need any player.
Yeah. But I will say, if there's not a player that you're like, this is a generational talent, I'm trading out of it.
I agree. Yeah.
Or you disagree?
I agree on that one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying, though, is that they just need to take the best player available. Like, if they don't feel like the person available is the best, then get more picks.
Listen, Bryce Young doesn't come every draft.
Yeah. You're not going to get a Bryce Young every single time.
All right.
Okay, who do you have at 30? Or was that your 30?
So we just did 30.
Okay, my 30.
Oh, yeah, you're 30.
Rams.
Yikes.
Do you have them on your bottom 5?
No.
Okay.
They're close, though.
Yeah, I feel bad for them because, like,
their trajectory is different than a lot of these other teams, though.
Yeah, their fix is, like, just be healthy.
Yeah, go to the doctor.
And also, like, over time, they're going to need to acquire more talent because the fact is they have a few guys that are very good that can keep the team afloat, but they only have had, like, 4 key injuries, and it's tanked the whole team.
Here's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Their team's getting older, not younger.
Yeah. Like, Puka's there. That's great. Stafford can keep things afloat for so long, but, like...
Yeah, Stafford's about done.
Yeah, you gotta... They're gonna need to kind of do a refresh here at some point.
I could have made a case for the Rams being my bottom 5, but I just think that they'll still be, like, a decent team at the end of the year.
Yes.
As they get healthy. So that's why I'm kind of... Yeah, they don't deserve to be bottom 5, so you're wrong.
Okay. All right. I just, the way, and this is kind of the way
numbers.
we do things. I am strict to the numbers thus far. So it just is what it is. I agree that they are better this is all because of injuries. It's not because of they're a bad team.
No, well, their coach is the worst. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sean
Okay.
Whoa. I kind of changed my rankings this week where I took my numbers and I made a couple little switcheroos.
I like that. I like that there's a little difference. Okay, who's your 31st? Who's your second to worst team?
Jaguars, who we've talked about.
We've talked about. Okay, mine's Browns, who we've talked about.
Who we've talked about extensively.
I think this is where it's pretty easy to know who like the worst of the worst are.
Yeah.
And this is where we're going to agree. So who you said your very worst is Pats?
Which I hate. I was just at their Hall of Fame.
Mine's the Panthers.
Which you hate because you love North Carolina.
It's a great place. I've never been, but I've heard lots of good things. I'd like
to go there with you someday.
Yeah, it would be great to go there.
Yeah, I mean, they filmed One Tree Hill there, I think.
Wow.
I think.
It's kind of a landmark show.
Yeah.
I never watched it also, but...
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Should we get into top 10?
Yeah, let's start with the 10th team.
Oh, baby.
And you know what? So I am getting a little squirrely with my rankings.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this baloney stuff where I'm changing some things. And it's just because sometimes it's the eye test. So I have the numbers, I have the data, I have the raw data.
Yep.
And then I have my eyes.
Sure.
And I got to use my eyes with the raw data.
Yeah.
And this is my top 10.
I love that. Mine, I go in eyes wide shut, as they say.
You
and
just
I say,
sort.
Numbers, tell me who's good.
Yeah. But I will, so like my eyes, I'm not going to take someone that's like super far down my list.
Yeah.
On the numbers. Like I'm talking like one or two.
Yeah, you're maybe shift things a little bit.
Control Alt Delete.
Let's hear what you got at 10.
Falcons, Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, where do I have them? Oh, okay. I have them in my top 10 as well, but not at 10. They're kind of borderline for you.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to stay top 10, or do you think they are maybe just playing better than them?
I think they're there. I think they're there.
I think so too.
Run game looks elite.
I think the reason that they have taken this long to kind of rise is that they did not look good at first.
Yeah.
And they've kind of warmed up, and now they're kind of into season form.
I mean, what do you expect, though? You got a new coordinator, new coach, new quarterback, young running backs, young receivers. I'm pleased to say that they're top 10.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Who's your number 10 team in the NFL?
I get a tie.
Oh.
Tie for 10, and it's the Ravens and the Chargers.
Okay, so Ravens are in my top 10. They're a little bit higher than you have them.
Okay.
Chargers are probably 11. Like I have a note.
Okay.
It says just outside, and one of those teams is the Chargers.
Yeah, so that's who I have. I think, again, like the Chargers are kind of, at least in my rankings, the way I've seen it happen is like they lose a game and they drop to like mediocre, and then they win a game and they kind of come up to it, like right at 10. So I don't know if they're kind of where you have them, I think.
Yeah, I think though as the season goes on, it's going to be really clear either or. Yeah. Give it a couple more games. That's my opinion.
I totally agree. And I think the Ravens though are more of your like actual top 10. Honestly, I think the reason they're so low for me is they've beaten some bad teams, and I count like how good of a team you're beating.
Yeah.
And so they just haven't gotten like the win strength that other teams have.
So they are your number 10 team, the Ravens?
I think in reality, if I had to choose between the two, I think the Ravens deserve it.
Oh, sorry. The tie was Ravens and Chargers.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9?
Number 9.
You go first.
Okay. I have the Bucks.
All right. I have the Buccaneers on that list, but my number 9 team is the Buffalo Bills.
Really?
Yeah.
I have them on my list too, but again, higher.
It's just inconsistency for me. That's why I had to drop them down a little bit. They're higher on my raw data.
Yeah.
And my eye data, put them down lower.
I think that makes a lot of sense to me, because I think that they are one of those weird teams where like one week they look perfect and they blow out teams, and then the next week it's like, what happened? Like, are they good?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think the Bucks are kind of there for the same reason.
Definitely, I have the Bucks higher, and it's whatever. But
yeah, I think they're a weird mix of a little bit of what we were just talking about with the Bills, but also they seem to have been getting better consistently as the season goes.
I think the reason I have the Bills lower than the Bucks on my list is just some of that firepower. Bucks have a lot of weapons, and the Bills are. I mean, now they have a little bit more, but that's a question mark.
Yeah, if that matters as much. Yeah,
your number 9 team.
That was it.
The Bucks.
Yeah, and yours is the Bills.
Number 8 team.
8 team. Me?
Yeah.
Packers.
Chiefs.
Okay, I have the Chiefs a little bit higher on mine too. Where are the Packers in your top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
So tell me.
Yeah.
Wait. How do we argue this one? Who your team is the Packers?
Yeah.
Mine's the Chiefs.
If they played head to head right now, who do you think wins?
Chiefs.
Really?
And that doesn't make sense with my rankings. Yes.
I actually, and mine doesn't make sense with my rankings either. I think the Packers win.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust the Chiefs' offense so much right now.
I don't either, but they just freaking
I know
man.
they have like a weird magic, and I honestly that's the reason why they're up higher in mine.
Yeah.
But I just don't logically I don't understand it, and I can't. Anytime I think of a matchup with them, I'm like, oh, that other team will definitely win.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know how to explain.
So I have the Packers quite a bit higher, and it's because I think.
Would you say best coaching staff in the NFL currently?
Chiefs have a really good coaching staff.
Yeah, they
too.
do. They do.
A lot of these people do. So I don't know. Yeah. I think, but I will say the Packers, I think, are maybe like a more exciting young coaching staff.
Yeah,
along with a young player core.
Yeah, I mean, in the next few years, the Packers are just going to get like better and better.
Yeah,
and they're already good. So
yeah.
I just have I think I've really shifted, especially this year, to being like Matt LaFleur is a genius.
Yeah, he's
one
awesome.
of the best coaches in the league.
And he might not even be the most liked of his siblings.
Yeah.
Did you see that soundbite?
No, I did not.
I don't even know. It just was really.
I know he has a brother in the league, right? That's like also a coach.
Oh, really? I don't know. Yeah, he just said like his brother always tells him that his parents like him more.
Wow. Well, I don't know if that's driven Matt to really take care of his facial hair and kind of groom himself better, but he's a beautiful man.
He's a good-looking guy.
Inside and out.
Yeah. My next team, number 7, is the Ravens.
Okay, so you have... Okay, that makes sense. I have... And this is surprising to me, but again, this is what the numbers are telling me.
What do the numbers tell you?
Bears.
I have the Bears even higher.
Really?
Yeah.
This is so weird to me because, again, like eye test-wise, I don't think they're that good.
Well,
I think of them more as like mediocre.
Weeks, I don't know.
I know Caleb's been getting better, but then I also go like...
looks good.
I think their defense is legitimately good. I think Caleb has gotten to face some easier teams than like where he started.
Yeah.
And so he's had the chance to maybe grow a little bit more and look good. I'm very curious to see what they look like when they play a good team.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's gotten them to 7 in my rankings is they got to play some kind of mediocre teams.
So Bears are at 7. 7? Is that right?
Yeah.
I had the Ravens.
Yep.
Like, I don't know who would win the game. Ravens versus Bears, I would say, like, I think the Ravens would win. But I don't know.
You don't feel strong? I feel strongly that the Ravens win that game. Like, I have them mentally, I have them in 2 different tiers. Like, Ravens are a much better team in my mind than the Bears are.
With their special teams coach?
Yeah. Even with that ball and chain of a special teams coach who's not, glorified special teams.
I just think the Bears they're a little bit more dominant than we realize.
Do you think when this all shakes out, because this is what I've been thinking about, do the Bears, I think they no, I don't know. Do you think they make the playoffs? Because their division, all 4 teams look like they could go to the playoffs.
I think they make the playoffs.
Who do you think anyone in that division doesn't make the playoffs?
No.
You think they all go?
Yeah. Is that possible?
It's technically possible, but it would be really hard to do. I think they would basically, when they start playing each other, would all have to go 1-1 with each other.
So what's crazy is my top 4 is that division.
I have, let's see. Well, we already talked about the Packers for me.
Yeah.
The entire division's top 10 for me. And my top 2 are their division. So, yeah.
So, like, trying to think of those 4 teams, which one slips? And it would be the Bears.
I think so, too.
But it could also be, like, the Vikings. It could be the Lions. It could be the Packers. Like, all these teams could slip, but I think the Bears are the most likely to have
I think
a
so
little bit
too.
of a
I
slip.
think I could also like for me, I think Bears Packers have an easier, like they could slip more easily than the other two.
Yeah.
But again, all of those are like probably because of injuries and not because of play necessarily.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really interesting. I did not. I don't know. I kind of expected Bears to be like okay, but maybe not.
Like 500 at best.
Yeah, I didn't think I would be talking about them as my 7th ranked team.
No,
at any point.
Neither did I.
And then, do we think the Ravens are going to continue to rise?
Yeah, I think they're Super Bowl bound.
I think so too. The way they've looked lately is
their defense isn't as good this year. I will say that.
I agree with
but
that.
Give it
I
time.
Think you
That's
can
all I'll
tell
say.
that they're missing McDonald.
Yeah.
On defense. All right, 6th ranked.
49ers.
Ooh, they're not even in my top 10
really
anymore. I have the 49ers tied for 15th place with the Commanders.
So Commanders are like number 11 for me.
Okay.
I think the 49ers, they're definitely, so they're like, I put them up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
For my eye test.
Yeah.
And it's just because they're the 49ers, man.
Yeah, no, I think the only reason, again, they're another team where the only reason they're so low on my list is injuries. They just have been very unlucky so far this season.
Yeah.
But I think everyone agrees, like, they're a phenomenal team. And especially if they get these starters back, they're going to be a lot better. I just don't know when that'll happen. Yeah, so I was talking about this with my wife, Jessica, last night, because we were talking about the 49ers Chiefs game is coming up.
Real quick, Jessica is in the medical field. Does she have any opinion on Christian McCaffrey?
We haven't discussed.
I'd like to hear her.
I would love
thoughts.
to. Maybe we can get her on for like an injury analyst.
She would love that.
She would love it. Anyway, that game is going to be televised nationally, like it's going to be everyone's game.
Yeah,
it'll be shown in every market.
Is that this week?
And that's like the first time that's happened this season. Yeah. And I was like, I get it because it's a Super Bowl rematch.
Mm-hmm.
But also the 49ers this year aren't what they were last year.
They're going to show out, though.
Right,
they're going to beat the Chiefs.
So do you think they are capable of beating the Chiefs
yes,
right now?
They're going to beat them this week.
Okay. We disagree on that.
Okay.
I think it's not their fault. They just need to be healthier.
No, that doesn't matter. They'll beat them.
Okay. I hope so for Kyle.
And for Brock and for Jordan Mason.
Yeah. Do it for Jordan. I wonder if was Jordan even on the team last year? I don't think so.
Do it for Jordan.
Yeah, this one's for Jordan, guys. Okay, well, my 6th ranked team is the Bills. So we already kind of talked about them, but they're up there. And again, like, they're a team where I wouldn't be surprised if they have a bad loss and drop out of the top 10, and then they're back in it the next week. Like, they're just kind of high variance.
Yeah, they have the Haley Steinfeld effect.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are a top 10 team through the end of the year, though.
Oh, I agree. I think they'll finish that way.
Yeah.
They're just so all over the place right now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I think that having a good wide receiver, though, is going to stabilize that offense, and I think that's going to help them a lot.
I agree
over
with that.
time. Like, maybe not this next week, but over time.
But yeah. My next team would be the Buccaneers, who we've talked about. I have them up a little higher than you, and I think it's just because they have a little more firepower.
I technically don't have a 5th place team because I have a tie for 4th. So we'll just get into the 4th.
So the 4th for me is the Bears. I've talked about them. Yeah,
that's really high.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So on my eyes shut numbers, they're actually higher than that.
Wow. Do they have like a really good turnover differential? I know that's something that you incorporate that I don't. That's
they have a positive one, but not all that crazy. I don't know. Maybe my numbers are wrong. I don't know. Their defense. I think it's
probably defense. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, my 4th is a tie between the Texans and the Falcons.
So I don't have the Texans like really anywhere close to this.
Where do you have the Texans at?
They're like 16, I think.
Okay, so kind of the same what we did with the 49ers.
Yeah.
I will say I think the Texans are this high only because they have squeaked out so many close games that I don't know that they should have won.
Yeah. To me, their defense isn't as good as it should be. That's why I don't have them that high.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with, like, watching their games, I'm like, this is kind of hard to watch a lot of times, but then they win like every game. Yeah. They're 5-1. Yeah. But it's definitely, and I was trying to remember, I think that's kind of how they were last season too, though.
Yeah, kind of a little, not sloppy, but.
No, just kind of like, well, like watching them, you wouldn't think of them as a 5-1 team.
Right. Well, even just hearing that, like you say 5-1, I was like, is that real?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Falcons being 4 is, I think, more legitimate. We already talked about them, but I think that rise has kind of happened over time.
Yeah, the Falcons are kind of a fun team to watch. I don't know like a ton about them. I haven't watched a bunch of games, just the ones that were nationally televised.
Yeah.
And then looking at box scores, it's like they got the run game going, which is really important.
Yeah.
So if they can keep that going, I think they're gonna have a good finish.
Do you feel the need at all to apologize to the backwards hat wearing coach?
No.
Okay. Maybe you should think about it. We kind of there was a time where
team now.
Oh gosh. Okay, what? Still a good team, Commanders.
Took me a minute though. I was like,
well, okay.
I was like, something's off here.
Sounds like it's time for me to apologize to the backwards hat wearing coach and say, sorry, coach, I forgot that you moved.
So sorry, coach, that you're not on my top 10.
Yeah.
But listen, you are on your way to my top 10.
You know what? Let's earmark that because I would like to talk Commanders in a second. But
earmarked.
Let's do 3 first.
Packers.
Okay, so this is where you have Packers. This is where I have Chiefs. So it's really funny because we have them in reverse spots. Yeah, again, same things that we talked about. I feel like the Chiefs are only this high because I don't like watching them play. It's hard to watch a lot of times.
Yeah.
But they're this high because they keep winning. Like there's just a horseshoe up their buns.
Ugh.
And they win. They're so lucky or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's luck. It's just like
discipline or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
So funny. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I take into account turnover differential.
Yes.
They're the only one in the top 10 with a negative differential.
Oh, that's really crazy.
Yeah.
It makes sense, though, because like watching their offense, Mahomes this year has thrown quite a few picks.
Yeah, I think he's like 6 touchdowns and 6 picks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So why do you think they're so high in your rankings? What's pushing them?
I mean, they're like towards the bottom. They're 8.
Oh, okay. That's a good point.
And I think that's why they're lower than your
than where I'm at. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what do you tell me? How come they're so high on your list?
It's just wins, losses.
Wins above replacement.
Yeah. Okay, second place, silver medal.
Well, let me find this here.
Yeah.
Lions, Detroit Lions.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Hashtag time's up.
Yeah.
For Aiden because he got hurt.
Oh no. Oh, yeah. Heartbreak. You know what? Let's just tie in because I know who your number 1 is too. It's the Vikings.
No, it's actually Eagles. I'm just kidding.
I was shocked.
Kevin O'Connell. All right. Kevin O'Connell is the best coach in the NFL. Offensive mind. He's my coach. He's in my city. He's my guy.
Okay, I'm gonna push back on that.
No.
If you picked one coach in the league to coach your team, is he it? You can only have one, and then he gets to fill out his staff however he wants. Is he your guy?
Everyone's available?
Everyone's available.
Yeah.
It's a good, I get it.
Yeah, he's my guy. I mean, you think, Jim Harbaugh, I'd rather have him. I'd rather have Andy Reid. I think, though, Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
He's younger.
Yeah.
He's, super, super smart. He's got a great offensive mind. He knows how to build a staff around him.
Yeah. Very clearly does, because their defense is humming, too.
Look at everything he's done with quarterbacks, So it's okay, we get a young quarterback paired with Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, fine.
And then he builds his staff. We're good.
Yeah. I think it's very hard to disagree with that right now. I think especially what's making me think that is that because I do disagree, and I'm going to pick a different coach.
Who are you picking?
Well, let me give Kevin his flowers first.
Give him flowers.
I think this year, more than maybe the last few, it definitely feels like there's a new football and there's an old football. and the new football is better and it's winning, and the old football is like struggling to keep up. And I feel like Kevin is one of those guys that's like the leaders of the new football. And so that's why I would say that. Why I would say he's probably like the best coach as far as that goes. I think I would still go with Dan Campbell. Because, and it's only because
the culture.
I think that he does something, I don't know what it is, but he gets guys like so into playing football that it makes everyone on the team better. I don't know that schematically he's as good as Kevin. I don't think he is.
Pair him up with a young OC.
If he has like a Ben or someone else that's similar, I think that they kind of supercharges people that way. But I respect yours. I personally would want Dan.
Well, it's interesting that our number 1 and 2 teams have our number 1 and 2 coaches.
Yeah, and I think maybe. Do you think? Sometimes I kind of think I get like real bandwagony, and it's just whoever's like doing really good at the time. I'm like, yeah, they're the best, and I love them forever. So I might be doing that, but
with the Lions, Dan
it's
Campbell,
so cool.
It is so cool. I think I would say Dan Campbell, is probably kind of on par with a Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
where it's like almost instantly, he changed the culture.
Yeah.
But I think Jim is a little bit more in tune with kind of I think Jim's football IQ might be higher than Dan's.
I think that might be true. I think Dan. I think Harbaugh, when he comes in, everyone's like, "This guy's a weirdo," but like we love him, and he's kind of getting us into it. I think Dan doesn't necessarily have that like weirdo thing. Like they don't think of him as a weirdo. So I think I think because of that, he's able to get them into it even more because they're like, this is just a guy we love and we're like really
I can see that.
Invested.
Do you know, I mean, there's probably, it's so hard to know if this is true.
Yeah.
Did Dan hire Ben Johnson, do you know, or was that like...
That's a great question. I think so. I mean, it's his staff, right?
Yeah.
So I think he did.
Because I feel like that's a big deal that I'm realizing, more and more is how do you build a staff?
Yeah, it's I don't think until like maybe this year and last year I didn't even think of that as something that like a coach did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I know that's what they do, but like
I don't know
I just didn't think it was a big deal. It was like, well, you just get the people in there that you know.
Yeah, just get some people.
But yeah, I think that is huge.
Well, especially like in the Vikings case with Brian Flores on the defense.
Yeah.
That's probably not like an easy guy to work with either.
No, he seems like a real a-hole.
Yeah, and Kevin's like, okay, we want this team to be good. Let's get these
we
got
to do it, and we're going to make this work. It makes because so one of the first times I became aware of this for some reason, and I was like, maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. Is Mike McDaniels?
Yeah,
he had the defensive coach who's now on the Eagles, and he's like one of the greatest defensive coaches.
Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio, thank you. He was at the Dolphins last year, and it didn't end up working out like culturally, is what they said.
Weird.
Like they basically didn't get along, is what it sounds like.
So are you on record saying Nick Sirianni is a better coach than Mike McDaniel?
No. Here's what I'm on record as saying. I'm on record as saying it made me think less of Mike that he couldn't make that work.
And more of Nick.
And I think that Nick Sirianni is this weird figurehead that for whatever reason they're not firing him. And basically that was Howie, I believe, is the general manager.
Roseman?
Yeah, Roseman for the Eagles, and I think he
made that work.
Yeah. I think he literally made it work. Like you will do this.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to bring my kids now to every press conference so they can yell at me.
Yeah, so you don't get mad when my kids are here. Nick Sirianni, just before we get to anything else.
Yeah.
What a weird situation. Like he's like getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah, and it's getting weirder and weirder in a way that's not like, oh, we love this guy.
No. Like gross. Like he was yelling at Eagles fans after their win last week.
I don't know, man. These locker rooms are weird. Like, they might be all into it.
Yeah, I mean,
or not all of them. Probably.
I think it is established in the NFL that like coaches are not generally not like well-adjusted people. Like they kind of takes like a little bit of craziness, but like it seems like his kind of craziness isn't the same as other people.
Yeah. I mean, you work with someone from Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do they have any thoughts on Sirianni that you know of?
You know what? My coworker from Philly does not speak very much of the Eagles.
Yeah.
He's talks about the Phillies quite a bit, but I think the Eagles are kind of like a sore spot. Like he doesn't want to talk about them.
Interesting.
So, I don't think they don't feel great about their situation right now.
I'm gonna see if I can get some travels to Philadelphia sometime and do some Q&A on the streets.
Yeah, I think it would be very interesting to see what people think, but I think they are kind of a naturally angry fan base.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is helping. I think they are unhappy with their current state of affairs.
Can we do our crystal ball?
Let's do it.
Okay, so crystal ball in your hand.
Yep.
Hands.
Yep.
Who do you want to see coaching the Philadelphia Eagles for the rest of the season? We get to fire Nick Sirianni.
Yeah. I want him fired. That's what I want mostly.
Mid-season,
we were kind of talking about this, and I was like, this is a place where we could easily disagree, because I know you want like a premium coach in there.
Yeah.
Because you have like a lot of love for the Eagles.
Yes. A ton of love. Jalen and
I don't know what it is about them. Like, I don't care about them.
That's so weird.
Like, I don't like Jalen very much. Like, he's fine. I don't think he's as good as you think he is.
I love Jalen.
I think he's like mediocre.
He's the best leader.
And he's kind of like lost his legs, I feel like. Like, he used to be, I don't know. I think he's kind of, I don't know if it's just because this has always been my thing with the running quarterbacks is like, you get older and that skill decreases quickly. And so I don't know if that's what's happened to him or if he's, I don't know, just not having Kelsey's like a thing.
I think that's a thing.
But I don't hate the Eagles by any means, but they just aren't a team that like excites me very much. But it would be fun. Like I always root for, I like my good coaches. If they brought in a good coach, I would be excited about it.
So here's the deal.
Yeah.
We fire Sirianni. Do you give the reins to like Kellen Moore?
No, I don't. Ever since Kellen Moore was the OC for the Chargers and I saw what his offense looked like, not a huge fan.
So
I want either
Fangio?
No, I would say either bring in like a hard-nosed defensive guy like a Vrabel.
I thought you just said you don't want to.
I would root for him still, but I'm just not like, I don't get excited about it the way you do, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I would say either bring in a Vrabel, or I would love to see like a Kevin O'Connell type, like a new offense, like a Ben Johnson or someone.
Yeah.
That would be cool just to see what they could do with it. But I think the state of the team, like, they're going to need to rebuild, I think. I don't think they have the pieces currently.
I think they have the pieces. I think they just need a good coach, like Mike Vrabel.
Do you really think that?
Yes. Yeah, 100%, man.
What do you think? So here's my knocks on them.
Yeah, go for it.
I think their defense is old.
Ish.
They need to do like a lot of work on the defense side.
But I mean, their defensive line is young and powerful.
Yes, I agree with that. They just aside from that, like they have a lot of pieces that need.
I mean, they draft
love.
a couple corners, I think, and
yeah. So maybe in the next couple years.
Yeah.
And then offensively,
they're set.
They have their two wide receivers that they're great. I agree with that. Saquon's great. He's basically been their entire team.
One of the best quarterbacks.
And then like that's where I think losing Kelsey is a bigger thing than gets talked about. Which I guess it probably doesn't, because normally losing a center isn't that big of a deal. But
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
They don't look any different this year than they did last year with Kelsey, in my humble opinion.
See, I think they have lost like a lot of their explosion, and I don't know if that's because I kind of think what was going on is that like Kelsey was Hurts's brain for like the O-line.
Yeah.
So then Hurts didn't have to think about that at all, so he could manage like the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now having to do it all is, I don't want to say too much for Hurts. He can probably get there, but I think that might be like a lot of the problem is that he's now having to do like two jobs instead of one.
Do you ever see that video where like Hurts is trying to audible something and then Kelsey looks back and shakes his head?
Oh, really? No, I haven't seen that.
It's pretty funny.
That's good.
That's my guy. You know?
Yeah. Because I think that's what the problem is. I guess if I had to boil it all down on offense to one problem.
O-line?
It's that, well, it's just the center QB connection.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have, like, Jason Kelce basically could call audibles for him. You know what I mean? And I think, I'm not saying that's Jalen Hurts' fault. I'm just saying, like, when that gets taken away,
it's a growth opportunity for Jalen Hurts.
It's a lot of extra work that he has to grow into, and I don't think he's done that quite yet.
So here we go, man. Eagles are going to be top 10 by the end of the year on my list, whether you like it or not.
I would love. It would be cool to see that, to see them do like a reverse of what they did last year.
Yeah,
where they like uncollapse at the end of the year.
Well, think about it. I mean, do you know? Can you pull up the record? Do you have the record?
I can get it.
So they started off okay.
Yep.
Had injuries, right? AJ Brown was out. Devontae Smith, I believe, was out. They're going to be healthy again. So I think we're kind of basing this on some injury issues that we're not talking about.
That's fair.
And they're still like 500 or better, right?
Yeah, they've only played 5 games. They had a bye already.
Okay.
They're 3-2.
Yeah, dude, they're in perfect shape.
And I will say, because I have my win strength and loss strength, they're a team, and there's always teams like this every year. Their wins are better than the wins they have. Like, I have, to get mathy about it, I have their true win percentage is 60%, but because of the teams they've been, it's 67%.
Exactly.
So, like, that's pretty good. But on the loss side, it's the same. So
they're losing against teams they should win.
They should be winning against. So they're at 40%, but
that's the injuries.
It's actually a 48%. So
the injuries.
Yeah, they're like a weird. They could go either way.
Okay, we've spent enough time here. Yeah. Let's talk about this earmark.
Oh yeah,
of the Commanders. Dan Quinn's team.
Okay, let me just read you where they've been ranked each week for me. So I have 28 first week.
Yep.
So we were all like, oh, Commanders like they always are. And then 23, and then 14, and then 10, and then 5 last week. And now they've fallen to 15 because they lost.
Just because they lost to the Ravens.
Yeah. Good. You got me. Okay. They're just so exciting. I think they'll be top 10 again pretty quick. I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah. So like I think they're 11 or 12 on my list. And I really thought hard about putting them up there because I was like, you know what, they deserve it. But then it was kind of the Falcons or them, and I said the Falcons are a little more tried and true, in my opinion.
I think that's right. I think the Falcons are more, if you're going to bet, like, you know what the Falcons are going to be from week to week.
Yeah.
The Commanders, I think we kind of have an idea of what they're going to be, but they're still, they're kind of like how we were talking about the Chargers and how this is technically a rebuild here, but they're looking pretty good.
Exactly,
that's what the Commanders are, too.
And Jaden Daniels has won Rookie of the Week like 5 weeks in a row,
as he should. I mean, he looks phenomenal. Like,
but it's just like, does it kind of wear out a little? Like, is this the normal? Is this kind of like him playing and everything's going perfectly? So I'm a little bit concerned that they keep this pace going and everything.
Me too.
Not that I don't think they're good. Like, I think they are very good, but they're exceeding expectations. A lot of times things come back to
earth a little bit. I could see them finishing the season like right around 10th, like 9th or 10th place.
Okay, well, here's the question for you there.
Yeah.
Are they going to make the playoffs this year?
Let me think about that division. It's Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants?
Yeah.
Yes. I think
Giants are out.
Yeah, Giants aren't making
Cowboys are out.
Cowboys aren't looking good at all.
I don't think Cowboys make the playoffs. I don't think
so either.
This is finally the year that everything falls apart.
Thank God.
I think the Eagles might squeak in. I think the Commanders and Eagles are going to squeak in as wild cards. I think they're going to be 2 of the wild cards for that.
Okay. Well, one of them has to, because one's going to win the division.
Are the Falcons in that? No. Sorry. Okay. So say the teams again. Giants,
Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders.
Okay,
who wins the division?
This is perfect. Eagles or Commanders? Who's winning that division?
I mean, we kind of know my feelings. Right now, I feel like the Commanders are.
Right now, I feel like the Eagles are winning.
Do you? So I think, can I just say your argument for you?
Yes.
It's that they're going to get better as the season goes and be more consistent. So I will say, if the Eagles can find the consistency that you think they're going to, I agree they probably will win the division. Because I think the Commanders, and honestly, it may be that their offense can keep this up, but their defense is bad. So,
is it that bad, though?
I think let me see.
I think the defense started out terrible, but I think it's gotten better. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you give me your weighted win percentage for the Commanders?
Yeah. I'm really glad you brought this up because I saw this and it is shocking.
Yeah. I bet.
So they played 6 games. Their real win percentage is 67%. They've won 4 out of 6. But their weighted is 38%.
Yeah, okay.
They've been beating very bad teams.
Remind me, what is the Eagles' weighted win percentage? 67%. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you're right.
Take that, put it in your little pipe, tamp it down and smoke it.
Okay. That's actually, it's hard to argue with that because it's one of those things where it's like, we need to see the Commanders be what they've been against good teams.
Because, we saw them against the Ravens. Not that they, just bent over or anything. Like, they played pretty good. But I think they've been kind of beating up on some bad teams.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Commanders and Eagles have not played, right? Or have they?
I don't think they have yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Knox?
Yeah, Knox, what do you... do we...
Sure
I don't think they play.
Okay, yeah. Producer Knox isn't sure.
Yeah. I will. Let's look at this. I just want to look at point differential.
For the fans at home who don't have the video feed, I'm drinking it's an oat milk latte. It's iced. It was made at home and transported in my Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah.
I live about, I would say, 5 miles.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, give or take. My GPS actually was like, as soon as I plugged in my phone, it knew I wanted to come here.
Yeah, it knows our process and kind of what we do. I also want to highlight that the cup you're drinking out of looks like a to-go cup that you would get at any 5-star cafeteria.
It sure does. And this is kind of so every other morning I just have a shot of espresso with a little bit of, milk or cream, whatever. Yeah. Like we're talking tiny little bit.
Teeny tiny.
But a lot on Fridays I usually treat myself and I make like a full-on latte. What
kind of, do you go 2% milk?
So I do oat milk.
Okay.
I do oat milk, and that's because I want the calories.
Yeah, great.
And I hear people say like, "Oh, you shouldn't have oat milk."
Really?
I think it's a lot of calories. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It's very creamy in my experience with it.
I like oat milk. I don't ever really drink just like regular milk anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily because of the lactose or anything. Yeah. It's just because I
just like, hey, leave the cows alone.
Yeah. And I actually really like the taste, like the feel/taste of oat milk.
Yeah.
And here's the deal, though. I do put a little bit of vanilla.
Some of the
syrup, I guess.
The pump.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm drinking, if I'll be frank with you, it's an iced vanilla latte to go.
That's great. What a drink.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Iced vanilla latte with oat milk.
Yeah.
To go.
Now, we're recording in my home, so mine is a at-home mug that I'm drinking out of.
Does it have any like sayings on it?
Here it comes.
Play.
And so it keeps me playful and excited for my day. Okay. That's your rankings.
That is your rankings leading into week 7 of the NFL season.
Love talking about it. It was very fun to get into those weird kind of the numbers and how argue with you about the Eagles and Commanders.
And just for the record, who would you say won the argument between the Eagles and Commanders?
Okay, well you did, but I think I could make some points.
Based on the numbers,
I could continue to make some points.
Based on the numbers, it sounds like I won.
I think point differential we could talk about, but that's fine. We'll maybe save that for another show.
Sometimes not about how many points you score, but how many points you don't let the opponent score.
Maybe I guess. Anyway,
in case we don't see you before Halloween, happy Halloween.
And I think we have one more show to do today.
Yep. So we will see you
for all
Halloween.
For all you degenerates, all you betting degenerates.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Thanks for the attention.
We love you forever.
C'est la vie.
We hope we argued enough for you guys.
Yeah. I still love this guy, but tell you what, he's an idiot.
Numbskull over here, but I love him.
See you next time.
Bye.